All right, so we're out here working in the Diligencia Basin. So I've been showing you guys some Ogden gneiss as we've been walking up the canyon here. But this basin is complexly folded and faulted. As you can see, the rocks are dipping in all sorts of directions. There's a beautiful syncline up the hill here that's been faulted a few times. So when you're working in areas of deformed rocks, especially sedimentary rocks, you want to know which way was originally stratigraphic up. Because sometimes these rocks will be overturned, particularly in this region here where you might have faulting associated with the metamorphic rocks that are nearby. So if we come look at this, this outcrop we're standing on right here, it's essentially dipping off towards the south. And if we just look straight up to the direction to the north there, the rocks are over there dipping to the north. So possibilities include, if this is dipping to the south here and that's dipping to the north there, we could potentially have an anticline, like an A. The other alternative would be that these rocks here have been pushed upward by the faults, so they've been overturned, and then you essentially have a syncline. It's like so. It's been pushed up. So let's take a look at the sedimentary rocks, and we can determine if these rocks are originally, this is up this direction, or if it's up that direction. So some of the features you want to look for are sedimentary structures. One in particular is cross-bedded sandstones. These are the best stratigraphic indicators for up or down. So if we get in here, look a little closely here at these this cross-bedded sandstone. What you can see is that these, well, let me just line up here. So my map board is the bedding surface, and you see that there's these lineations in this here that are at an angle to that. So that's your crossbed. Those form during deposition with sandstone as the fluid flows going over the surface. But they always form in a concave up structure. So kind of like a curve like so. So if you see here, let me just sketch it out using my marker here. The surface here, hey buddy. All right, Zoom, I'm gonna need you to move so these kids can see these cross beds here. So I sketched out the cross beds there, so you can see the concave up is this direction, okay? So stratigraphic up is this way. So if our beds are dipping to the south and stratigraphic up is that way, these beds have been overturned. So another indication of stratigraphic up you can use are ripple marks. Going over here. So here's some ripples you can kind of see on the surface here. So there's symmetric ripples. You can use the larger curved surface is the ripple, and that indicates stratigraphic up. Another thing you can look at are channel structures. So we're going to pan up here, and if you look down at this sandstone right here, what you see is that it's actually carving down into the shale below it. So that's this curved surface right here. It's actually scouring out that shale a little bit, and then it comes back up on this side. So again, channels are also concave up as well. So it's telling you that stratigraphic up is that direction. So if we go back and look at the beds though, so you see the beds though are all dipping to the south. So this way they've been overturned like so. Basically you go from flat, push all the way through, overturn that direction. And then the whole rock package itself just kind of folds back around as you go further off in that direction. All right, so let's take a strike and dip now on this this ripple marked sandstone. When you're taking strike and dips on sedimentary rocks, you really want to look for the finest grained sediments as possible, because they tend to not have the sedimentary structures or channels that could potentially disrupt your strike and dip. If you don't have that option, the best thing to look at is the top surface of a bed. So if I had this channelized sandstone I was showing you earlier, I go to the top of that to take the strike and dip to be a true strike and dip. So let's go on over here. The methods are the same. In this case, I want to smooth out this surface a little bit because it is a bit ripply. So to kind of average out the ripples, you want to line up your map board there. And the strike is, again, that parallel plane that's going to come in and intersect this plane of the bedding. And again, I put my E right up against the rock, so I'm recording it in the correct orientation. So in this case, now my strike, center that bullseye level. Strike in this case is 119 or 118. And then my dip, flip it over so you guys can see it from that angle. And then I'll use the long arm level, flatten that out until it's centered. Went the wrong way. So we had, what was it, 118 for the strike. The dip is 73, and it's towards the south. So again, it's the black arm needle, just kind of eyeballing what quadrant it's in. So how we'd go about and put that on our map, because it's, if you recall, the normal symbol for a strike and dip, and I don't have paper in there. Very good video right now. Find an empty page. Okay. So if we had a strike of 118 or so. So if we have our quadrant here, it's north this way. So 118 falls in the southeastern quadrant. So that's our strike line, roughly. And it's dipping to the south. And it's dipping to the south at 73. Sorry. Okay. So if the beds were not overturned, this is how the symbol would look. But because we've determined that the beds have been overturned, they've gone from horizontal through vertical and past vertical, we put a special symbol on the map here to indicate that they've been overturned at this locality.